Hello, and welcome back to Crafty Mom Creations. I'm Melissa, and today is kind of going to be a little bit of a vlog and a little bit of an update for the last 2 weeks of the Stitchin for a Cure cancer fundraiser. So just an update on the cancer fundraise front. We're still at $120, which is fantastic. It's $20 over what I was hoping to raise, especially being a small creator and just kind of getting into this. The plan is to do this every February, especially since I am a cancer survivor myself. I don't know if you can see my scar or not right here from when I had my thyroid removed thanks to thyroid cancer. I do have an upcoming body scan in March, the beginning of March, just to make sure that it hasn't spread and it hasn't come back. So where are we with the donations? I did, let me grab this. If you've been watching Instagram, I stopped posting daily updates because it was getting kind of boring. So I have been working on the blanket and I am done now. I know there's not a lot of room. I'll take another quick shot for you once I'm done filming this part, but it's all done. Well, mostly done. I still have to tie in one end or two ends, and I have to block it, and then I'm going to wash, fold, and prep for the hospital. But that is all done in beautiful purple color. And I did do another hat. Again, I'm finished putting in the ties. It didn't turn out too bad. And I'm using the Roll With It tweed, and the color is Popular Pink. And I did start on another hat, just a simple HDC in the back loops, turn, sew it together at the top. So, okay, on to the vlog. What have I been doing? I have been working on the blanket. I have been working on the market prep planner that we talked about in a couple videos ago. I know I did miss a week because of being sick, and the kids were sick, and life was just happening. Okay, so Friday I finished the blanket, and then Saturday we went to Hamilton to the Royal Botanical Gardens for Valentine's Day. That was kind of my gift from my husband for Valentine's Day, and we went in. It's the Wizard of Oz promotion they have going on there. I'll put some pictures in for you so you can take a look. The orchids, oh my goodness, they were so pretty. Anyway, Anyways, so we did that, and we went to Tie Cat store, of course, because it's my husband's favorite store in the world. What else did we do? We did a little bit of shopping. The kids needed some new underwear, pillow, blanket. Our oldest is growing like a weed. He's taller than me now, and I'm over 6 foot already, so he's like 6'2" now. He's only 15, and so we had to get him a new blanket because his twin size blanket wasn't long enough to fit him, and his feet were getting cold or couldn't pull it up far enough. And we went, hubby let me go, not let me, but took me yarn shopping at Mary Maximum. So I'm going to show you what I bought there. I do have some clips of some of the yarn they have there. Something that kind of disappointed me just a little bit with Mary Maximum, like it's the only place where I can pick up Parfait Chunky in person anywhere near me. Not that Mary Maximum is very close to where I live. It's like almost a 2-hour drive, but worth it because I want to touch it. I need to touch the yarn. I need to squish it. I need to squish it. So we drove from Hamilton to Mary Maximum, and I did a little bit of yarn shopping. And I got mostly Parfait Chunky. I got yellow, red, green. Okay, I completely skipped what I was going to tell you about that. I was disappointed about it. I'll get back to that. Remind me. I got blue. I got white, and I got pink. Now I was kind of going for, I needed white for a couple projects, but these colors here, I do have purple and orange in my stash up here. I know you can't quite see it, it's on the top there. I'm kind of going for like a rainbow kind of theme with this stuff. For market prepping, rainbow stuff seems to go really well. Not necessarily pride, but rainbow. So I got 2, 3, 4, 6 Parfait Chunky. Now, while I was in there, do I continue with the yarn, or I tell you why I was kind of disappointed? Let's continue with the yarn. They had Big Twist Posh. Now, I have not seen this in store before. I was in Mary Maximum, I think, just before Christmas. Yes, just before Christmas, because I bought a couple pillows for my kids for Christmas there, and they did not have this. And I got these 3 colors, which are so bright and so beautiful. I think this one's showing a little more pink to you, but it is more purple. So the colors are Smoothie Bowl, Butterfly Pea Flower, and what's this one? Baja Blue. So those are the 3 colors that I got. They were $8.99 Canadian, and the Parfait Chunky was $5.99 Canadian at Mary Maximum. And this is supposed to be, I think it's the baby bear from Michael's. Now I know they did they originally, when it first came out, it came out as, what did it come out as? Wasn't Baby Bear. Posh Pearl. It was Posh Pearl, I believe. I have some. And then they came back out, and it was gone for a long time because it was popular, even though they said they weren't going to keep it. They ended up keeping it because it is hugely popular. I've already used some of this skein, so it's a bit of a mess. But they came back out with a new tag, Baby Bear. No, this is not the right stuff, is it? I don't think so. I think this was the Cozy Cub. Hold on. Hold that thought. What do I have here? I don't know if I have an actual skein with the tag on it. Hold on. Okay, so I found one that I have used, but the tag is on it, and it's Posh Pearl. So this is supposed to be the same. Now, looking at the, I know I'm not comparing the same colors. I don't think I have any because I fell in love with the colors. So if Michael's had those colors, I would have bought them. Yeah, I think the closest to this one is kind of this one here. That's also Posh Pearl. And I think that was like blueberry or something. I'll double check for you. But comparing the textures, they're very close. This feels a little more, I don't know if you can see it or not, but can you see that what I'm talking about? Kind of like that corduroy look. It doesn't feel like the corduroy. I don't know if there was something going on with the process of making it, or if it just shows more in this color, because the purple has it too, but not as much. Like you can definitely see it, but not nearly as much. I will say though that the Big Twist Posh is shinier, and I don't think that's a color variant because the other two skeins are also very shiny. It gives me more of a thin parfait chunky look to it, like that shiny. It's very soft. I'd say that the Posh Pearl is actually, I think the Posh is softer, just by a little bit. Just by a little bit. But I'm excited to try this because, of course, in Canada, we never had a Joann's. So when everybody was upset, like now that I have an actual Posh Pearl, or sorry, a Posh skein, I can see why everybody was upset. Like, I get it. I get it. So these are going to be for market prep because I've started signing up for my markets for spring and summer. A couple of them I do have to be, what's the word I'm looking here for? Approved. They are, you apply and you get approved or you don't get approved. I did do this one last year, the Grilled Cheese Festival. So they invited me back already, but I still have to go through the approval process. It's fair for everybody. But I did very, very, very well at that street festival last year. So I am keeping my fingers crossed that I get into it. The company that puts on the event also invited me to a couple other in the downtown Toronto area for the summer. So I'm also going to apply and go through the process with that. What I will do is, I haven't applied yet because the application's just opened and they are a little bit pricier than I usually will sign up for. Usually over $100, I say no, but these ones are worth it. So I will take you through the application process and the approvals and all that. I will keep my own information private, of course, but we can go through that maybe next week's video. I can take you through at least the application process, because the approval process always takes a couple weeks because they ask for pictures, they ask for pictures of your setup, pictures of your products, of course, all your social media handles and websites and all that fun stuff. So they do at least go through a juried system. Last year, there was no other crocheters at this festival, so that I think very much contributed to me having such a good show. So I'm excited about that. So this yarn is going to be for market prep. Now, that's not all the yarn shopping I did. I'm sure you have seen the TikToks, the Instagram, the Facebook Reels that Michael's has new yarn. And now, at first, Michaels here in Canada didn't have it. Well, all the Americans were showing off all this new yarn. And of course, I get a little jelly about that because Canada's always so behind on certain things. But I did go into the Michaels next to my husband's work. Yes, my husband works right next door to a Michaels. He doesn't actually work in the building. They just, that's their home base. He actually works all over the place. But we thought it was quite funny that they put my favorite store where I spend so much money right next to my husband's work. I always joke with him and tell him he can just forward his paycheck next door. So the new yarn at Michaels, I only got 2 different kinds just because, so as far as I know, what I've seen anyway in my stores is there was 4 different kinds. The 2 I bought, and then there's like a faux fur type skein, and they're small. And this is part of the reason why I didn't buy any, is because they are small. They are $8.99 Canadian, but they are small. And I just realized oh my goodness, I am having such an ADHD moment. I forgot to show you the rest of the yarn I got at Mary Maxim, and I forgot to tell you why I was disappointed being there. Okay, let's backpedal before I forget again. I also got Mary Maxim had, I think I'm saying that right, Mary Maxim has a clearance yarn room. Like, it's an entire room. Don't worry, I'll show you clips. Or maybe I did already. I'm not sure. Editing Melissa will show you. So I did pick up 2 of these skeins of, what is this? Fantastic Faux Fur by Love. And this is Pink Haze. It's showing more like peachy on the camera. I don't think my little light on my DJI is helping, but it's more pink than you're seeing. Maybe back here, I don't know. But I got those because I want to make bunnies. It just felt, pardon me, felt so soft and so comfortable. I want to make bunnies. I don't have any Easter events, at least not yet, but I do want to make bunnies, so I got those. Now, back to why I was disappointed. So, if you have seen my shorts, my Instagram, my Facebook Reels, you will know that I get upset when I see Temu sellers, resellers of crochet items. Like, that's the big reason why I don't put any of my stuff in stores in the Durham region or even Toronto, because they have resellers of Temu crocheted stuff, and I don't want, first of all, I don't want to compete with that market because I cannot price my stuff low enough to compete. Second of all, it's just, it's not okay and it's not right. And I wish these stores would do a little more research into what they're actually putting in their stores. Now, I'm in Whitby and I am very close to the Oshawa Center, and they literally have a store that sells all Temu resold jewelry and crocheted, like the little plants and stuff, and I think it's disgusting. And that is my opinion. I don't care where you I do care. I just, as someone who has put so much work and so much effort and so much time and thought into everything I make, thinking about my customer, especially children who are buying my products, adults who are buying my products for their children. When I price my work, I think about how parents can afford my work, how children, how durable it is. All that gets put into it. When I go into the store in Oshawa and I see these half-assed made crochet items that are hot glued together. They're already falling apart. They were crocheted by somebody, and paying $10 for something I would charge $25 to $30 for, I know whoever made that was not paid fairly for their work. I've been crocheting for 33 years. I am very quick. I am very experienced. I know what I'm doing, although of course I'm always still learning new things. That's just the way life works, but I find it disgusting, and that is a hill I will die on when it comes to crochet. Is I will not support that area, and I don't think it's right when they're invited to vendor markets, farmers markets, anything. I don't think it's fair that they get to compete in the crochet market with the people who are actually charging their worth for their work. And I don't think it's fair that you can just order stuff off the internet that somebody made and not pay them fairly, because crochet is, I think it's easy, but as a newcomer to the craft, it's not easy. It's complicated. It's stressful. Yes, it's supposed to be calming and all that, but yeah, just a hill I will die on. However, all that being said, I'm going to turn myself somewhat into a hypocrite. Everybody knows Crafty Mom Creations. My logo, my brand character is a flamingo. I don't know if you've seen her or not, but Phoebe, she's like 6 feet tall. She's completely crocheted. She has wood in her neck to hold her up, and she's on a wood base. She is broken right now, so I will be doing a video about putting her back together and fixing her up for the upcoming markets. So every time my family sees something flamingo related, they have to show me and sometimes buy me. And my son was walking around Mary Maxim, and this is not really a teenage boy store. There is yarn, there is little trinkets and stuff for women. There's not a lot of whole lot of stuff for boys or men to look at in there, depending on what they're into. But my son found this. It's mass marketed. It was handmade in Vietnam. I'll show you the tag here. So somebody put their hard effort into this. And it is a measuring tape. Don't get me wrong, this is super cute. And you just press the wings and it goes back in, and the little legs are attached to the bottom. This is the price we paid for it. My son and husband bought it for me because it's a flamingo. But I'm going to show you another clip here. I just find it disappointing that a company who sells yarn to people who are going to make things, maybe not necessarily sell them, but makes things from yarn, would sell something that was mass produced and not paid fairly. Because for $20 for this, and it's made in Vietnam, but the company is abbottcollection.com. Now, I haven't looked into it, and I will look into it, but I'm going to assume that these are mass produced, like the Temu stuff. They also had a bin of emotional support type little animals. I'm sure you've seen my dumpster fires. They were $10. And again, if I'm going to sell my stuff wholesale to another place to sell to another place, if the end result is $20 for this, the maker who made this, who designed it or bought the pattern, designed it or put the hours into making this, I'd be surprised if they made $5 on this. And that's not, when I say $5, I'm not including the yarn, the time. Like, I'd be very surprised if they made any profit whatsoever off of it. I'd be very, very surprised. Now that I'm sitting here with this in my hand and having such a strong opinion about it, do I feel like a hypocrite? Yes. However, my family doesn't understand that well about what this means. Now, when I go into the maker's market or whichever at the mall or wherever we're at and we see crocheted stuff, they know that's Temu resold. That's not, it's real, but we're not actually supporting the crocheter who made it. Like, they get that. They don't necessarily think that way all the time. So, do I feel like a hypocrite? A hypocrite? Yes. However, this was a gift from my family. So, it is what it is. I do appreciate it. I do love it. I do think it's super cute. And I think it's adorable. Do I wish more of my family's money went to the actual person who made this? Absolutely. However, it is what it is. All right, back to Michael's. So there were I saw 4 new ones. Now, the 2 I didn't get were the faux fur one, and I'll show you a picture, and the like velvet. Now, the reason why I didn't buy them, I have no problem working with velvet, and the faux fur, it didn't look too bad to work with. It kind of reminded me of maybe like Little Bunny a little bit. However, the skeins were very small. They were like, this is one of the new ones. This is Big Twist Fluff. And the color is, okay, there's a lot number. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing a color. Hold on. There's no color on it. This is the other color I bought. So I got blue and pink. Again, I'm thinking more springy type stuff. Blue, maybe for bunnies, for Easter, maybe something more boyish, because with my market prep, I'm really going to concentrate on stuff for boys. I'm talking bugs, and I'm going to try doing a truck or something along those lines, because I get boys coming in my tent all the time, and they're not so much into a lot of the stuff I'm making because they're not boy stuff. And you'd think having 3 boys I'd be a little better at this, but I'm not. So, anyways, pink does not have a color on it either. Oh, there it is. So this is Cashmere Rose. You can see it there. Just not typical the way they put the names on. And this is Windsurfer. Oh, that's a cute name. I like that. Windsurfer. So, yeah, the skeins were maybe half the size of this for the velvet and the faux fur. Like, this is this is the Posh. Like, they're a little bit similar in size. There's definitely more in here in this one just because it's thinner. This one is 250 grams. This one is, I suck at reading labels, 200 grams. So, and then the Parfait Chunky, of course, is what are they, 100 grams? 100 grams. I would say that the new velvet and the faux fur that they came out with is maybe half the size of this. I'm not sure of the weight or anything. I didn't look that hard at it because I was disappointed. And same with the velvet. They're very small and they're $8.99 a piece. I didn't think it was, even at buy two get one free, I didn't feel like it was worth it. So I got these two. Big Twist Fluff. I'm very excited to try this. Check back next week's video. I will have something made out of those so I can show you. And then the next one that I got was the Grande Ombre. And this is also in Windsurfer. I don't know if you can see that. I saw other colors at so I went to the Michaels by my husband's work. I didn't buy anything. I did take a quick video. I'll show you that with all the new colors and everything. And then when I actually bought some, I bought some on Sunday while my husband was getting new work boots. He went into the work boot store, which is right next to Michael's, and I went into Michael's and looked at the yarn while he was getting boots. So I ended up getting it at a different Michael's who didn't have the colors or all the colors that I saw at the other Michael's, so I only bought the one. Now this is giving me Bernat blanket vibes. Definitely Bernat blanket vibes. I'm not a huge lover. I don't like Bernat blanket very much at all. I think it's dull. I think it looks, depending on the project, I think it looks overly chunky and messy and kind of sloppy. And that's just my opinion. And you don't have to share that opinion. It can make you upset and angry. I'm sorry. That is just the way I feel about it. I think that this type of yarn needs to be for larger projects. I don't think that little minis should be made out of yarn this size. I don't think it works. But that, again, is just my opinion. You do not have to share that opinion. You do you, right? So this is Windsurfer, and I'm thinking a dragon. Now there are other colors, and I am eventually going to get the other colors and maybe do like a line of dragons or something else. So that is my yarn shopping for the week. Depending on how it goes working with these this week, I might get some more. I don't know. I do have to work on some more hats for the cancer donations. I will be going in March 11th. I go to the hospital, so I'll be taking everything with me on March 11th to donate to the hospital because I have to go in anyway. So it just makes sense. So that brings me to something that I was really debating on whether I wanted to talk about or not, because I'm just going to work on this hat while we're talking about it, because I feel like I don't show you enough crochet stuff in my videos. So I am going to crochet while I talk about this. It might keep me a little more grounded. So I'm sure if you've been on Instagram in the last 2 weeks, I guess this week it hasn't been as prevalent as it was last week, but I could not go on Instagram without seeing a post from a designer, pardon me, from a designer talking about how they were taking down their copyrighted character patterns, or their pre-made plush, well, I guess not pre-made, but their handmade plushies of characters. Now, at first I was angry. I was so angry. Like, why are these people complaining? And why are they getting so upset? Because it's copyright. They know it's copyright. Like, even fan art, as much as people want to do those things because they're popular and they love them. Like, I love Stitch. I made Stitch. And I can't even say that I've never sold a copyrighted character or anything like that. However, I've even made a copyright pattern. I did Smurfs hats, and I did a this is like 15 years ago now, because I made them when Logan was very little, or was just born actually. I was designing character hats. I designed Big Bird, and I did the Smurfs because there was a Smurfs movie coming out at the time. And at the time, I did not realize that doing that was illegal. When it was pointed out to me that it was illegal, I took them down right away. Because I was not about to put my business and my art and my creativity in the crossfires. So when I was seeing all these creators saying, oh, I'm taking it down, I'm having one last sale, I was angry. Like, what are you doing? You knew it was not okay in the first place, but you've been doing it anyway. And then I saw a post that, now I'm not calling anybody out. I am not naming names. I am not pointing fingers, because like I said, I'm just as guilty. I saw one creator saying that, you know, they only did copyright characters because it brought them more viewers, more buyers for their patterns. And I get that. Original designs generally don't get the same hype that copyright characters get. And I get that. However, we all knew it wasn't okay. And then the posts started saying like it's all AI's fault. As an artist, a fiber artist, I understand the anger towards AI, saying that AI took down their shops, AI took down their Instagram, AI did this, AI did that. I am not defending AI. However, at some point you have to step back and look at the situation just a little bit differently. The community gets behind designers whose designs are stolen by other designers and by Temu and Alibaba and whatever other websites are stealing their work. We can get behind each other for that, because they're taking our original designs and saying it's theirs. Now, follow my train of thought here. Is that not the same as Disney or Nintendo or whoever protecting their own creative designs? Now, I know there's something to be said about the certain companies being huge and they make so much money. However, it is still theirs. Like, we can't step up on our soapbox and say, you can't steal my original designs and put it on another website and sell and make money off my work. Disney, Nintendo, Pokemon, they're doing the same thing. They are protecting their work. They just, what's the word I'm looking? They automated it with AI. That's their prerogative. If you had the money as a crochet designer to automate something going around and finding anybody who is stealing your work and sending them a cease and desist, or having them taken off the whatever platform they're using to sell and promote, wouldn't you do the same? Like, I think after I sat down and I thought about it and I discussed it with my husband, I was more heartbroken than angry, because as a community, like I said, I've been crocheting for 33 years. I have seen every fad, every trend come in and out of popularity with crochet. And never have I seen copyright infringement as prevalent as it is right now. And I have to say, even changing the name of your patterns, like to the blue speedster, or the black and red mouse, or anything along those lines, as I think as a community, we need to understand that even if we create something and we've copied it, whether we copied it or not from a popular copyrighted character that belongs to somebody else, especially big business, as long as it even looks like that character, you can still be hit for copyright infringement. And I know a lot of the posts were saying, oh, it's just fan art. They shouldn't be targeting creatives. We're bringing them more of an audience. No, we're not. Fan art, whether we agree with it or not, is still copyright infringement. It is not promoting somebody else's business if you are profiting from it, whether that's in views, in monetary value. If you are benefiting from it, it is copyright infringement. And I think that as a community, we need to be more vocal about what is right and what is wrong in the community. Because as I'm seeing all these posts about copyright infringement and AI bots destroying the community, no, it's not. We've done this ourselves. And I hate to be the one who brings up the drama and the one who gets involved, because generally I don't really like to. The community over the past, I'd say since COVID, is not what it used to be. It is no longer welcoming, and that's quite a shame. It is no longer about original designs. It is about who can get out the new character from the new kids movie the fastest, who has the most followers. It's not what it used to be. And I think that's what made me so angry, because this feels like, for me, the fall of the community. Because no sooner did I see all these posts about copyright infringement and AI bots and oh, it's just fan art, did I start seeing multiple creators calling out other creators about stolen patterns, saying, oh, it looks so similar, it's the same body style, it's the same this, it's the same that. I think as a community, we need to be more aware of the legalities around what we do. Because yes, you can copyright your patterns. As soon as it's published on the internet, it is copyrighted to you. However, you cannot copyright shapes. You cannot copyright color combinations. You cannot copyright stitches. When you copyright your pattern, when it is put onto the internet for the world to see, whether paid, free, or otherwise, the way you have written it, your pictures, is all copyright to you. However, you cannot copyright a circle. You cannot copyright a sphere to make the head. You cannot copyright body shapes because you can't copyright stitches. And if you can, you're way behind, because crochet has been around for so long that the combination of stitches you think you came up with has already been done. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that as we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're not reinventing the wheel. I just think that the community has become so much about pointing fingers instead of lifting each other up and basing our designs off our own creativity. Somewhere along the lines, at least for me, I've seen it since COVID, that the community has taken a drastic turn. I mean, there's always been drama, knitters versus crocheters and stuff like that, but nothing to the magnitude that it has been since COVID. I've been part of the crochet community online for 16 years before crochet really got popular. And the decline is unbelievable. So, some food for thought, I guess, or just maybe me venting a little bit. Again, my intention was not to call anybody out, to point fingers. I think the whole community as a whole, myself included, need to rethink the community. Anyways, so I got another row or two done. I think I messed up. You see that right there? No, I didn't mean to give you the finger, I'm sorry. But right there, I think that's a double crochet instead of a half double. But it's on the back. I'm not seeing it on the front. All right, I am off for now. I am going to go continue to work on that hat, and I have to get a tooth pulled this afternoon, so I think I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the day. I will see you next week when hopefully I have some plushies out of the new yarn to show you. We'll see you then. Bye.